Okay, I'm back. We'll see how long this can hold. I've still got some martini left. So, as I said it the first time, or the first take when Facebook's playing with me. Facebook's trying to scratch my car. But I'm not going to be scratched, you see. This whole thing started with with my wife coming in and saying she scratched the new Honda, and I said, oh, well, let's go out. I didn't even, I was going to look at it later. She said, well, let's go look at it. So we looked at it. But what I noticed was, why I'm mentioning this was, that I noticed that I didn't have any scratches on me. Usually, and I've been practicing meditation and mindfulness now since 2005, or I should say it's been practicing me. Because I haven't expected anything out of it. I've just been doing it. And that's the way to do it. If you're going to do meditation, and here's the problem, you can't start out doing it that way. You have to start out doing it until you get to a point where it does you. And you can't tell where that point will be. It'll just shift. And you will shift. Because when you start out with meditation and mindfulness, it's kind of like a hurricane. Meditation and mindfulness is the eye. And you're on the periphery out there, going around like this, trying to do it, you see. And of course the world, your world, in which you're fixed, is trying to unseat you and replace that I, where you put meditation and mindfulness, with something else, like your car. Or your hobby, or whatever is more important than meditation and mindfulness. We'll try and replace that I. So you go around it, you see. So we fix ourselves on, the hurricane fixes itself on the eye of the hurricane. Now here's the interesting thing. When we put form, or an idea, a religion, an ideology, anything, in the eye of our mind, we fix on it and it fixes us. But then we protect it. And then we defend it. And then if somebody hurts it, I'm scratched. An opinion. Look at Facebook. You got an opinion. That's the eye of your hurricane. If somebody attacks it, you get scratched. And you scratch back. You see. So this all comes down to the fact that we need to be fixed. I need to be something. I need to have some respect. I need to have some status, recognition. I need to be liked. I need to be somebody. I need to be somebody. In the waterfront, I could have been a contender. You see? Movies come back like that. Movies come back and just ring truth right through you. I could have been somebody, you see. So anyway, this need to be somebody is a need to be fixed. Because if you're not fixed, you can't be anything. You can't be a somebody if you're not fixed. And that's our greatest fear, of being unfixed. So we cling, you see, because we can't stand the idea of not being fixed. We can't. It's a caterpillar trying to imagine a butterfly. The caterpillar is fixed to the twig. The butterfly is free, but the caterpillar has no idea what a butterfly is. So it goes through the transubstantiation, like the Catholic Mass, where the butterfly is transmuted into, the caterpillar is transmuted into a butterfly. That's unfixed. So meditation and mindfulness is the cocoon in which we are transmuted from a fixed self that fixes on cars and things to an unfixed self that is free. Nothing can scratch you if you have nothing to scratch. Nothing can hurt you if you have nothing to hurt. And yet you're here. And you still have a car. You go out, rub the scratch off of it, you see. Or you're doing Facebook, and you keep losing the connection. There's no scratch on me. I just redo it. And use what the scratch to polish my talk. You see? So when you can't be scratched, the scratch is still there, but now you use it to polish your life. You make your life shine by using the scratches, by using the dents, by using the upsets and the complaints and the regrets. All of these scratches you use now to keep your polish, to keep your freedom, your Teflon freedom. So the practice of meditation and mindfulness is very real, it's very practical, it's totally, absolutely useful, and yet the practice itself has no use. This is the great irony. If you start out, and most of us who have tried this, yoga, a little meditation, I need to do this or that. So there's this tension, there's this effort. You say, oh, I got to go to the gym, I got to get on the treadmill, and then we got energy to do it for a while, but then after a while, I don't want to do it today. And then other things get more important, you see, and we forget about it. And then, oh, I got to get it back. I'm guilty now. I'm guilty. I fell off the wagon. I fell off the treadmill, getting fat, you see. Now the guilt, and I try to get the idea back, try to get the energy back, to get on it, to get it going, you see. And I may get it going, and then after a while, the tension. So what is this tension, you see? It's the tension that defeats us in our efforts to be better than who we are. You see, because the tension is between who I am now and who I want to be. I want to be trim, I want to be beautiful, I want to be buff, you see, I want to be enlightened. Whatever that is, you see, there's tension. So we put that in the eye in our hurricane, and we focus on that. But then karma comes in, and we put something else in the hurricane. Oh, I need to go to Costco. I won't do it today. Costco. And then, let me punch this thing here. I think I'm still on. It probably just uploads. See, I've got two talks here. The first one that dropped off in a couple of minutes, and then now I'm doing this one. So anyway, this is standalone. Just like this martini is standalone. If you just tuned in and you think I've been drinking this thing, well, I'll let your imagination fill in. But my uncle was a martini priest, and he collected these chalices, and the bigger the better. He didn't use them, but I don't think he did. But anyway, it's a martini with a twist. So the idea we're working with here, our martini time idea, is that it's possible to live without getting scratched. Things happen, but they don't scratch you. Krishnamurti said, on just a post today I was looking, I don't mind what the world does to me. And that creates a lot of confusion. People are arguing about it because they mind it. They had a problem with what he said. They minded what he said, so they were arguing about it. Facebook's a great sandbox. Facebook is where the mind comes to play and see itself, if you want to. If you don't want to, you won't. All you're going to see is what irritates you. The problems. I have a problem with that. Or I'm offended by that. That scratched me. You hurt me. You dented me. You dented my opinion. You scratched my opinion. I'm going to scratch you back. I'm going to restore balance, you see. You scratched me, you got no scratch. I'm going to scratch you. Now we'll be balanced. And then they'll scratch you. Wait a minute. Now I got 2 scratches and you got 1. So here's 1 for you. Now we're balanced too. And they scratched you. Wait a minute. Now I got 3. Now we got 3. Now we're balanced. So that's the way it goes. Teeter-totter. You see. But the truth is, now here's what truth is a big problem. Because we see truth We want truth. We love truth. We're hungry for truth. We're die for truth. But these eyes see with two. So everything we see comes in twos. But the truth is one. It's like our culture looks at the world through two eyes, but they're not focused. They're wall-eyed. So you have one screen here, a split screen here, and you have the other one here, and they're not in focus. And we say, we got to get the truth. We got to get them in focus. We got to get one world that's in focus, not two worlds. One's out of focus with the other, you see. So when we perceive the world through media, we're perceiving it through, that's the lens of the media. The lens of the media is two lenses slightly out of focus. So they are two, a left and a right lens, you see. And we know the world should be in focus. That's what truth is. Truth is a reality that's in focus. It's one reality. But we perceive in twos. It's like Noah's Ark. Everything comes in pairs. No matter what happens, it splits into two. This and that and this. And we identify with one or the other because we want truth. We want the one. So we got to pick one. Choose. Which one is the truth? I don't know. It's like when they come into, when I give my martini glasses away, people come in and say, pick one. And there's too many choices. It's like Hurt Locker. Oh, I can't choose. See what? Too many choices get us confused. So the problem is choice. See, truth is not a choice. Truth is seeing. Truth is seeing the whole that is two. The two sides are still there, but you see the whole. You're in focus. There's only one reality. But you see the two. So when I'm talking about being scratched, or not being scratched, I'm looking at a way of being in the world in which the world does not scratch you. Yet you're still in the world, doing stuff, you see. But there's nobody inside that has a skin that can be scratched. So I go on Facebook, and people try to scratch me. I don't feel scratched. So when I don't feel scratched, I get to see the context of our conversation. I get to see me and the person in context of a whole instead of seeing me against them. It's not personal. So the real world is impersonal. The illusion of the world is that it's totally personal. So we get confused, you see, because we take things personally. I know on Facebook, I'll make a general statement about life in a general statement, and people will take it personal. Well, I don't do that. Are you saying that I do that? You scratched me. I'm offended. I didn't do that. Well, I wasn't talking about you. I didn't address you personally. I was just making a general statement. Well, it sounded like you were talking about me, and I'm really offended. I got scratched. You got scratched, you see. But why did you get scratched? Obviously, we like to get scratched, or we wouldn't be scratched. What does a scratch do? Well, it makes me feel like me. I'm offended. When I'm offended, I'm angry. When I'm angry, I feel powerful, and I want to defend myself, and I want to get back at you and restore justice. You scratched me unjustly, and I'm now outraged, and I have moral indignity, and I am stronger. I'm a me now, and you're going to respect me. I'm a somebody, you see. I'm fixed. Anger fixes us, you see. I'm fixed in my anger. The anger now is the eye of my hurricane, and I'm a cat 5. Watch out. Watch out. I'm not a cat 1, I'm a cat 5. We all know cat 5 people. And usually you walk very tenderly around them because you don't want that cat 5 to come up. You see. So what's behind that, you see? It's the need to be fixed. But what would it be like if we gave up being fixed? You know, I have a lemon twist in here, and I used to use an olive because it was kind of like a reward for drinking this. So, anyway, we are, in our culture, the American materialistic culture. Now, a materialistic culture means that everything is material. And when something is material, it's fixed in its materiality. You get that idea? So this battery here, this is a material battery. It hurts if you, ow, you see. It's fixed in its materiality. It's a thing. It's going to die. It's going to be retired to the landfill when it runs out of juice. You know, when it gets to be 65, it goes to the landfill. But the point is that we believe everything is fixed in material, including us. And so how do I fix myself in material? Well, I fix myself in material. I become a thing in a material world by accumulating material things and getting attached to it. So now my free soul, my unfixed soul, is attached to things. And things are going to die. So now I'm going to die. And now I got anxiety about death. I got the anxiety, I'm going to die. Because I'm fixed to things. My mother's going to die, my father's going to die, my house is going to die, my job's going to die, or everything I know is going to die. And I have anxiety. What will happen to me when I'm not fixed? I'll be in chaos. I'll be unfixed. And that's like, to the fixed mind, that's terror. That's floating anxiety. So we have, materialism creates a floating anxiety. And our society is a materialistic society, a consumer society. We consume things. Why do we consume things? To be fixed. If I eat that thing, I'll be fixed. I'll possess it. We're eating more and more things. No wonder we're obese. You see. So this whole idea of fixed and unfixed. But getting back to the practice of meditation, checking my time, trying to be fixed. And so the whole idea of meditation and mindfulness as a practice to be unfixed starts out as a practice to fix you. You start out meditating and doing mindfulness because you want to be fixed. You want to be unfixed. But that's being fixed. I'm going to be fixed in being unfixed. See how that works? There's time involved here. I got to do this as a means to get to that. It's time. How long does it take? I don't know. When I first started with yoga, my teacher said, do this, do that for a year, and then you can do what you want to be. In other words, she implied that I'd be unfixed. I'd be free. So I did that for a year perfectly. But at the end of the year, I was the same as I was at the beginning. So we'll discover that's we keep trying different means to get to the end of being unfixed, and we can't do it because we're already unfixed. So the shift when meditate. But here's the thing: when you start out with meditation and mindfulness, and they work together, they're partners. They're Fred and Ginger Rogers. They're a dance. So when you start out with that, it's going a means to an end, and it takes some effort to do it every day. And to remember to be mindful when you're walking around the house, drinking coffee, whatever you're doing. It takes effort. It takes an intention. But this is the intention to wake up by, because at some point, if you don't give up when you don't achieve your goal, that's the threshold. Most people give up because I'm tired of doing this. I'm not getting anywhere. I'm not getting unfixed. See? Because they're fixed on being unfixed. So when you give up being fixed on being unfixed, but yet you don't, there's a shift that happens, and it's hard to explain because it's spontaneous. It's like when the fruit falls off the tree. At some point, the fruit will fall off the tree and there will be a shift. And suddenly, the meditation begins to do you. The mindfulness becomes who you are. You don't have to make an effort to be mindful. You just are mindful. It's like a sports, At some point, the sport begins to do them. The piano player, at some point, their practice shifts and they just play automatically. You see. But they still practice. So with the meditation and mindfulness, I still practice, but a shift has occurred, and it does me. So it takes no effort. It's just what I do. And that's when the freedom from being scratched begins to happen spontaneously. Things don't bother you. The world doesn't, you don't mind the world. You don't mind what the world does. You don't mind that your wife scratches the car. It didn't scratch you. Because you haven't identified with the car. It's just a car. When you don't identify with something, it's just this. It's nice to have, but if it goes, it goes. It's just this, you see. That's the great liberation. When life becomes just this, then nothing is mine. Don't take it away. This is my opinion. Don't attack it, you see. We become liberated. You can't scratch me. But I'm sure I have to watch out, because whenever I say I'm free from something, sure enough, it catches me. So if I come tomorrow with a big scratch, I'll say, I wasn't quite done yet. Thanks for dropping in.